All right, we're live. Look at that. Camera lights blinking. It's forever o'clock. It is late here on a Thursday night, and we are talking fantasy football. It's losing sucks. Here after the Thursday night game between the Bengals and the Dolphins, and there's so much to talk about. The Tua talk has taken a different turn, and I don't know what to say about it other than I hope he is well. Hopefully we have better news in the morning. Talk to me, Travis. What are you thinking after the victory by the Bengals just a few moments ago?
I will refrain from any Tua slander because the man is hurt. If you watched the first half and saw the football come off of his hand, nothing else needs to be said. Teddy Bridgewater, I think, will be just fine for this offense, if not better than what Tua would have given you. Raheem Mostert was the surprise of my night. I have loved Mostert since day one of this show.
Okay.
And to see him come back from another knee injury and have success in prime time makes me feel good. 17 touches for Raheem Mostert. I did not see that coming. I think Jared Holland, one of our writers, had Raheem Mostert on a deep stash waiver wire.
Yeah.
Piece of advice, and I should have taken it. Maybe it's too late now, but Mostert looked good. He definitely looks better than Edmonds as far as between the tackles and being that focal running back for them.
Yeah, I don't think it's close. For whatever reason, I think Chase Edmonds got hyped up about, being this really a player that he's not. We wanted to believe. I wanted to believe. I've got him in a lot of places. But Raheem Mostert, man, he just keeps hanging around. Whether or not he stays healthy, I don't know if I'm necessarily taking that bet, but yeah, he right now he is the guy, and let's just keep our fingers crossed, keep that man in a bubble. And
if they don't play on the road, if they don't play at San Francisco, he's got a chance to finish the season. But if they play in that stadium, if I'm Mostert, I'm saying I'm a healthy scratch tonight. I'm not playing on this field.
I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just terrible luck.
Protect myself.
Terrible luck for that guy. I don't blame him. He finally have a job. It's like, oh man, I like having a job, guys. It's like, no, Reem, you're gonna play. You're gonna be good. It's fine. Like, you guys don't understand.
The Bengals did not look great. They got the job done, but I think after the Super Bowl run last year, everybody expected huge things, and maybe it's still coming, but we're 4 weeks in now, and I've yet to see a game of theirs where I'm like, okay, this is the offense we expected, where everybody eats and Burrow's just carving people up. Maybe I underrated Miami.
Nice game.
Miami's defense is good, but
I mean, Burrow didn't sink you. I mean, look at his.
Yeah, he didn't sink you, but just watching it though, like 20 completed passes, it looked like especially after the first drive, like he marched them right down the field. And I was thinking, oh, he's going to kill tonight. And he did not. He was in a lot of people's top 5. He might have been in our top 5 ranks on the week. He's not going to finish there. No, I mean, he had a decent game. He did enough to
not cost you a week.
Yeah.
He gave you a regular week. There were some other guys, though, in this game that produced. And, even with the Tua injury, Tyreek Hill came to play. You look at some of these guys that came out. You get T. Higgins, going off for 124 yards and a touchdown. That guy, what a luxury. If any other team, like if Jamar Chase isn't going off for a team, that's a rough week for that NFL team. And then you have a guy on the other side of the field who can just still erupt. That's just so nice to have those young guys. And Joe Mixon finally getting some, run and getting a touchdown. I don't know, for whatever reason.
He got stuffed at the one 6 times tonight.
I was going to say a few times. That team has a lot to figure out. That offensive line has to coalesce still.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to take some time that you have that. But like I said, Tyreek Hill, 10 receptions, 160 yards. Even without Tua, Tyreek Hill finds a way. I think, quick reaction. If Tua is out for an extended period of time, what do you make of the weapons now in Miami? Like, are they just more boom bust, or do you favor Tyreek? What are you thinking now?
Yeah, I think you definitely favor Tyreek. What we saw immediately was a lot of short stuff. Teddy took some deep shots. Tyreek actually got a long catch, but yeah, again, I don't think it changes that much. I think Teddy gives you exactly what Tua could give you, if not more. I think he has a stronger arm. He's definitely got more experience.
Right.
And I trust that coaching staff. I trust McDaniels to say, what do you do really well? Because he does that with everybody. Every position, he says, what do you do well? And we'll figure out how to use it. So I trust that Teddy will be fine. I'm sure in a lot of Superflex leagues, he will be. People will be spending quite a bit on Teddy. I don't think we see Tua for a little while.
Yeah, I think that would probably be for the best. I think there's going to have that investigation into the previous week, and the story has yet to play out. Real quick, just for our listeners, do you think Tua wins that game if he plays?
Absolutely not. No.
No? Really?
I don't think he's better than Teddy. I've said on this show,
That's
as recent as last week, I think Teddy wins the job by the end of the year.
No.
Well, not by injury,
man.
by skill.
No.
Now we'll never know. Now we'll never know.
Did you watch him in Denver? That's awful.
It's a different team. It's a different way.
Right.
If you put Tua in Denver last year, it's just as ugly.
Oh, you know what? You can put Teddy Bridgewater on a few teams and it won't be good. How do I know that? Because he's been on quite a few teams and he hasn't been good.
We're about to find out. He had a 13-point second half tonight, which is
okay.
That's plenty. That's a 25, 26-point game.
We'll see. I just can't buy into it. If
2 gloves? Teddy 2 gloves?
Yeah, he's God-given gloves, like Triple G. I get it. All right. Well, there's other football to talk about. There are plenty of matchups that we want to get into. We got our 3 things we need to see this week, got our buy lows, and of course our big picks that we need to cover. So lots of things to talk about. Let's dive right into the 3 things we want to see heading into NFL Week 4. Here we are, Travis. Hit me with your first one. Go.
My first one is going to be the Jets offense with now returning Zach Wilson instead of Super Bowl MVP 900-plus yards through 3 weeks, Joe Flacco. Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Tyler Conklin. Who is going to be Zach's favorite target? Are they going to be as successful as an offense for fantasy as they have been? That's my question. I still lean Garrett Wilson. I think he's a better receiver than Elijah Moore, and I've been high on Moore all offseason, but
True.
I think Wilson is in that special group, and
Wilson.
I think Conklin will be fine. I think he's going to remain a starting top 10 tight end.
So you're not worried about any drop-off with Conklin with Zach Wilson coming back?
No, I mean, the preseason talk that we got from Alex Dunlap was Tyler Conklin is going to have a huge role in this offense. That was before Zach Wilson got hurt in the preseason game. So I don't see why that changes when he comes back. They're clearly confident that he's the better quarterback. He's the future of the franchise. There's no hesitation to say, like, oh, maybe Flacco was better. I think Zach Wilson has the juice, and I think he can support those weapons.
Okay. I mean, I hope you're right.
Yeah.
I would like to see that as someone who has picked up Conklin on teams where, I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of teams that need a tight end and don't want the secret that they held on to and drafted or picked up to go away just because Zach Wilson comes in. I'm going to have to see it from him, though.
I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Another team with a lot of weapons that I'm hoping keeps up what they've done in the past, not recent past, but the Minnesota Vikings, man. That's my first thing I need to see in Week 4 is I need Minnesota to show me that they can turn it around. They go in and they're facing the Saints. And the Saints, the Saints have some problems themselves. But you've got Dalvin that's already banged up through a few weeks. Justin Jefferson hasn't had that rhythm with Kirk Cousins the last few weeks. You've seen a sort of resurgence of, KJ Osborne and Adam Thielen games. And you look at some of the things that Minnesota's doing, and Justin Jefferson has 29 touches through 3 weeks, 9 touches a game roughly. And you need more than that. You need more than that from your star. Dalvin Cook is is still a valuable piece in this offense, but you need to get him going. He hasn't had one of those, okay, that's a Dalvin game.
Yeah.
So I expect that to be a focal point in getting their stars the ball. You heard Kevin O'Connell come out and say, I need to do a better job of getting Justin moved around in the position or in the formation and putting him in positions to succeed. So I'm hoping to see that as well.
Yeah.
What's another thing you need to see in week 4, Travis?
Naji Harris, Dustin. He's currently outside the top 20 running backs through 3 weeks. I did not expect that. I did think that all Pittsburgh weapons would come down a little bit from last year. I think, in a huge minority that thought Big Ben was actually better for this offense than people gave them credit for, because
Sure.
the dink and dunk to Deontay Johnson and Najee Harris was why they were so good last year. The volume was insane, and we have not seen it. I know Deontay's still getting a lot of targets, but he and Ben had that Drew Brees, Michael Thomas type. I know where you're going to be. I know how to get you the ball. I'm going to force it to you anyway.
It's Trubisky's first year. I mean, heck, it's any of their quarterbacks' first year in this offense, really, aside from Mason Rudolph. And
Yeah.
you don't have, sure, what Ben lacked in the physical capabilities at the end, he more than made up in the mental capabilities and the capacity to understand where can I go in this offense.
And nothing to lose. I mean, Ben was letting it fly. He's throwing 40, 50 times a game. We're not going to see that from this crew.
They're not going to let him throw that.
So the question is, who is Najee Harris this year? He was drafted in the first round, into the first round. I have very few shares, maybe 1 or 2 in Dynasty, but Najee's not a top 12 running back this year. I don't see the path to it.
Not top 12. Okay.
If he's outside the top 20 through 3, he's going to have some really nice weeks, because all the other guys are going to have some really nice weeks too. Do you see Najee having 100-plus yards in multiple games in a score? No, I don't. That's what it's going to take for him to get inside that top 12.
He's got a decent matchup coming up this week. I expect this to be a week where they're able to move the ball on the ground. So the Jets aren't exactly world beaters. They're both these teams. It's something I want to talk about here later in the show. But both these teams that are in this matchup aren't exactly guys or teams that are going to be stifling the run. So maybe we see maybe that is just kind of who Najee is this year. Is that someone who can have good games, but you're not going to be able to consistently rely on him. And you know what? I saw you were tweeting about it and talking about how guys in the first round this year have just largely disappointed.
Everybody but Kupp and Kelsey. Kelsey into the first is where I was taking him, and he's been fine.
It's been awful, So it's just we need to look into seeing how historically different this year is, and it's something I'm very curious about. I gotta look into it.
It's going to drive people to take rushing quarterbacks that early. I think the whole landscape changes. Because of the disappointment. Like, if it continues with Jamar Chase, and I don't think it will for Chase and Jefferson, but it very well could with Najee Harris, DeAndre Swift, Alvin Kamara, like the back of the first round, those type of guys are going to get passed over for the Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen.
I still don't think so. I still don't think it ever gets there.
We shall see. I think there's a paradigm
You would take a
shift
quarterback
here.
in the first round.
Right now, I would take Lamar Jackson in the first round. Absolutely.
See,
why not?
I just feel because it's recency bias right now. Like right now, we have.
But there's
a whole bunch
so
of
many position guys. Like you have the whole draft to take whoever falls to you. Every round from that point on, you're like, I have Lamar Jackson. I just take the best available the rest of the time.
That's not good process. Like I feel
it
like
hasn't been. I agree with you, but I think it's gonna change.
But I feel like you're using like hindsight as confirmation. Like, see, they were great. There are so many other quarterbacks. Like how many? Like we talked, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. Those are the guys that have been killing it. Like other than
everybody
those
else
guys,
is 7 to 10 points behind those guys.
Sure,
That
but
is
like, how
huge.
close are all they? Like the rest of the quarterback, how close is all the rest of the quarterbacks? That's what we need to look into.
Very, yeah. It's those three,
exactly.
and then there's a huge. That's what I'm saying. Those three are going to be at the end of the first round.
Exactly, but what I'm saying is that they've all had killer starts.
Yes, if it continues, it is recency bias for sure.
I don't think it's going to continue. Like, even in Lamar's MVP season, he still had games where he wasn't scoring 40 points. You know, he had games where you bring him down to earth. You 15, 16 points. And
it's going to take the first round running backs and receivers to start to go off to bring that narrative back.
And I think we're going to see that. One guy, though, that we need to go off that you probably spent too high of a draft pick, at least in hindsight now, if we want to use hindsight, is DJ Moore.
Yeah.
DJ Moore is a guy that we all wanted to believe that, for whatever reason, Baker Mayfield was the guy to bring him along. And what I need to see is something out of him this week. Because Travis, if he doesn't do it this week against Arizona, who is giving up one of the highest totals of fantasy points, if we look right now at the fantasy points against the wide receiver position, Arizona is, well, they're bottom half of the league, and they've already given up. I mean, they consistently give up 30-plus points to the wide receiver position for each team that they faced. It's not looking good. But you have to, if it's not going to be from DJ Moore this week, the next 3 weeks and beyond do not look great. The next 3 weeks for DJ Moore, he gets the 49ers, he gets the Rams, and he gets the Bucks. That's not looking good for DJ Moore. So, if anything, right now, I need to see success from him this week, and then I would suggest you try to trade him.
What do you think happens this week?
Oh man, like, what do I think happens?
Yeah. What are you expecting? Like, what's DJ Moore's stat line this week?
I think he gets low yardage. I think he's probably 40 yards, 50 yards, and a touchdown.
God.
Like, I don't see, like, Baker Mayfield looks awful. He just looks awful.
I'm going to say 80 and a score from DJ this week.
I mean, that'd probably be the high end of what I would expect.
He has the athletic ability.
He absolutely has the talent.
I mean, he's that good to make that happen.
It's always been about who's throwing the ball, and right now, I mean, it's Baker Mayfield. It's a weak secondary, so yeah, I'm not even gonna argue with you on the 80 yards. Like, that's reasonable for DJ Moore, but is it reasonable for Baker?
I think like pendulum wise, it's been on this side, this low side. Mm-hmm. It has to come back at some point.
I would hope so.
I would think. We've said this with him before, and it has. So I think he has one of those games where you're like, okay, I got this 4th round value, and then, like you said, now move him if you can, because the stretch that's coming up is ugly.
Yeah, Panthers, not good.
Debo Samuel, his incredible year last year was with none other than Jimmy G. It was because of Jimmy G.
Yeah, so the Debo connection. That's what you're talking about.
No, it was not because of Jimmy G, but could it be round 2 for Debo? He's somebody that I've tried to buy, and people are not budging, as they should not. But sure, if you can send out an offer, see where the Debo owner is at. He hasn't done anything crazy yet. I think Debo and Ayuk and Kittle, I'm very excited for all 3.
Would you trade Debo for Tyreek right now?
Yeah, I would take Tyreek.
Okay.
I would take Tyreek. I think he's getting incredible volume. And Debo, I mean, I think Debo can get it going. I'm excited about Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle, like I just said, but the division is tough. There's gonna be games that Debo has 20. There's gonna be games where Debo has 7. I don't see Tyreek ever having 7. They just force him the ball all over the field. 16 targets.
I agree. But I think now that you're seeing, I don't know. Now I've got
16 targets.
Oh, for sure. Like the targets are nice, but again, that's not going to happen every week. And you now have Teddy Bridgewater, who apparently is better than Tua. So I've told.
Apparently, yes.
Still don't believe that. But Debo, so you need to see just more with Jimmy G. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, the reason why I put him on here, what I want to see is 2021 Debo. I want to see them start to get a flow in that offense. I think they have not had a flow yet without having Kittle, without having Mitchell, a switch at quarterback. I mean, there's just been so much.
Yeah.
A monsoon.
Forget, Jimmy
this
G,
was a high-powered offense that was a
Jimmy
well-oiled
G didn't
machine.
have training camp with the 49ers. People forget that. He wasn't with them, practicing with them all offseason. You know, he was literally just standing in front of a mirror looking at himself. For months. That's what he was doing.
I'm buying all Niners that I can. I got a share of Ayuk on Wednesday or Tuesday, and I've tried to get Debo and Kittle. I have Mitchell in some IR slots. At some point, this offense is going to give us what they gave us last year because Jimmy G is a very competent quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, I'm not going to argue with it with Debo. I mean, they use him all over the place. They want him to carry the ball now. They want him to. I mean, obviously they're going to throw the ball to him. They want him to score. So I believe in Debo. That's never been a question. I have questions about the Baltimore secondary though, and I also have more questions because they happen to be facing the number one quarterback and the number one wide receiver in the NFL right now. In Buffalo, I'm just looking for a pulse. I'm looking for hope, okay? This mainly ties back to our home league. I'm 0-3, and I face Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs stack. It's not looking good. It's not. Look, the season might be lost already, okay? I'm not going to sink this ship. I'm not going to call it dead. But we're getting punched in the face.
You need this.
I just want to win.
0-4 is that's tough, man.
That's bad. Is that bad? Is that anyone tell me if that's bad?
So you put Baltimore secondary on here because you need them to show up.
I need them to show me something. Make a play. Can anyone make a play?
Somebody.
I feel like the coach in The Waterboy, where he's like making the plays on the chalkboard. He's like, no, he fake. He thinks about faking. No, they think about guarding the pass. They think about intercepting. No, they don't think about it. I don't know where I'm at. I don't know, man.
Diggs has been so hot. Maybe he's due for a quiet game. This could be a Gabriel Davis week. How about that?
Gabriel Davis, please. If you're playing this week, please go off. Please. You catch the touchdowns. Stephon wants a break from the end zone. He doesn't want to run that far. You catch the big ones.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's move on to some buy lows here in week 4. So who's hurting you right now, but you're willing to buy low because they're going to be back, baby. They're coming in hot. Who's your first guy we should be looking to buy low this week?
It is Leonard Fournette. Third most touches among running backs. There will be 0-3 teams, 1-2 teams that have Lenny, are frustrated with Lenny. Maybe they have a hole at wide receiver or tight end, and you've got 2 good ones. He's somebody I'm trying to go pluck. I have been unsuccessful. I'm not willing to give up somebody like T. Higgins or CeeDee Lamb to get him because I am not deep enough at receiver to do that, but if you are, go get Leonard Fournette. It will start to get going. He is getting the rock a lot. He does not leave the field.
No.
And those owners are frustrated with it, so you can pounce right now.
Yeah, and I mean he touches the ball more than anyone else on that team by a far margin.
Yeah.
He's got 69 total touches so far through 3 weeks. The next closest guy is Russell Gage with 21. So, yeah.
Leonard Fournette is the offense.
He is right now. He's he's the only guy that. Well, I mean, with Mike Evans and everyone else being out, he's the only guy that Tom Brady knows the name of.
Yes,
he's like Leonard.
Gage had a great week last week.
Yeah, get on out there, Russell.
Honorable mention for part 1, since we're talking about Bucks. Go buy Tom Brady. Tom Brady is cheap right now. As Mike Evans comes back this week, Godwin's a week or 2 away, I think. Mm-hmm. Gage will get healthy. This offense will start to get going. They've had a rough schedule to start. Right. They've had some injury luck or bad luck. I think second half Tom Brady's going to be a whole different beast.
Sure hope so. My buy low is Breece Hall. I'm a big fan. That's a shock here on this show.
Royce.
Big fan of the guy. Look, it's more so because I think that he's going to take over that job. I don't think it's going to be this split the entire season. I think we're going to see a lot more. I don't think they're going to let Zach Wilson throw it like they were with Joe Flacco. I just don't. I think they're going to run the ball more. I think Joe had a little bit more freedom, but I expect that Breece Hall will gain more value. And right now, I think it's a good time to do it. You know, they're facing Pittsburgh, which historically has been good against the run, but not lately. You know, lately they're one of the worst. And
they're minus TJ Watt.
Yeah, and they've given up the 5th most rushing yard or points to the running back position in fantasy. So I think Breece Hall could be if you can pick him up after the show comes out and you listen to this and you want to go grab Breece Hall real quick in a cheap trade, you know, go get him. You know,
who would you give up for Breece Hall? Who's an equivalent running back name value wise that you would rather have Breece over?
Okay, so I would trade for Breece. Like if you can get if you got, and I hate to say it, if you have Travis Etienne on your roster and you can go trade him for Breece Hall. It hurts me to say that.
I don't think you're getting that right now with what Etienne has shown. What about James Conner?
James Conner, no, I don't think I would go and grab. I think James Conner's going to be better.
He'll get going.
But all right, you got Raheem Mostert. Go package Raheem Mostert in something else with something productive and go get Breece Hall.
Okay.
You know, go something like that. Something where Khalil Herbert, if you can turn Khalil Herbert into Breece Hall, do it.
J.K. Dobbins?
Absolutely. J.K. Dobbins. You know what? I don't actually hate that. Obviously there's more question marks with J.K. Dobbins, but I think they're going to start ramping him up. He actually is probably a decent buy low. Now that I think about it, I feel
like people are going to that's the name value that people are going to want. If they're giving you Breece Hall, they're going to want a Josh Jacobs.
If you can trade Antonio Gibson for Breece Hall, I would do it.
Okay, I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Let's see. Not so obvious buy low for me right now is Tyler Lockett. I
love this one.
A lot more Tyler Lockett to come later in the show. But for right now, the reason to buy low on Tyler Lockett is he's had back-to-back 11 target games. He has been in Seattle forever. Pete Carroll loves him. They're going to find ways to get Tyler Lockett the ball. And he finds ways to get open and be undeniably forced the ball. So he will continue to get double-digit targets, I think, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
I will save some of the reasons why I like Tyler Lockett for our big pick section, but Detroit and New Orleans are notorious so far for taking away wide receiver ones. New Orleans has done this for a while, and Detroit has somebody who has been doing incredible at taking away that side of the field. I think that's going to be DK. I think he's the clear one there in defense's eyes. So Tyler Lockett, I think, versus Detroit has an awesome game.
I like that call. I didn't know how effective Jeff Okudah has been. But looking at the numbers, they're pretty impressive.
Scared of DK this week.
Yeah, it's a scary time. My next buy low, I like this a lot. I just picked him up from you, though, Travis, is Allen Lazard. Allen Lazard, I love the buzz that's coming out about a rookie, Romeo Doubs, because everyone thinks that he's going to be the wide receiver one. I personally don't agree.
I don't either.
I think that he's still a rookie. He is going to be inconsistent. And Lazard, who has an established rapport with Rodgers, is more trusted. We saw it. I spoke about it in our last episode. He was targeted on more third downs. He was targeted more in the fourth quarter when the game was close. And he was targeted down the field as well. He's still getting high-value targets. They just weren't connecting. And the schedule coming up for the Packers is juicy. New England, the Giants, the Jets, Washington. All of these teams have given up big games to the wide receiver position. And Lazard could be in for some serious draft buzz confirmation. The guy that you wanted, to be your sleeper wide receiver pick. And then he's like almost a post-hype sleeper where it's like he was hyped up. and then it died, and then now we're here. He has
got
a chance to
hurt.
resurrect himself. Yeah.
His ankle got stepped on, and it took him a full 2 weeks to really feel better. Still found a way in the end zone back-to-back weeks.
Right.
People will start to see Alan Lazard does not leave the field in that offense when he's healthy, which is really nice.
You know, and you go to see, like, the things that Romeo Doubs was scoring on were like a small little tunnel screen, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like he's going downfield making these huge plays and you know, he's a game-changing wide receiver. He can make big plays, but I don't think he's going to be consistent. That's going to be the thing. I like Alan Lazard moving forward. Buy him now while you can, while Romeo Doubs is the hotness that everyone thinks that Rodgers wants.
Yeah, and this is redraft. I do like Romeo Doubs in Dynasty. If you can get him, but he's not going to be cheap right now. But if he has a couple of bad games, I would go scoop him up. My third one is a player that's a little bit in the weeds. People know his name, but I don't think he's a trusted asset yet, is Josh Palmer from the Chargers. Keenan Allen, and this was not talked about on Twitter at all today. Keenan Allen left practice. He was supposed to be a limited participant making his way back, hopefully playing this weekend. He left practice holding his hamstring with help from the trainer. He is going to be out.
They were helping him hold his hamstring?
I think one arm was around the trainer, and
one
the other
guy,
one was
so
like,
he's
my
holding,
leg.
he's holding his hamstring, and then the other trainer's also got his hand on there. He's like, we got
It's a huge hamstring. He needed help. Yeah,
it's
like
a very large hamstring. I don't know if you've seen
thoroughbred
Keenan
horse hamstrings.
Very large legs.
He and Julio both have thoroughbred hamstrings. Anyway, Keenan Allen left practice, hurt. He is not going to play. And I think this comes out tomorrow that they're like, we're shutting Keenan Allen for 3 to 4 weeks, which I really did not want to see. But with a veteran like that, for a team that plans on making the playoffs and making a run, they're not going to risk it with Keenan Allen. Josh Palmer, 99 yards, back-to-back 6-catch weeks. He against Houston, I like Josh Palmer as a buy low. He's going to be a really nice flex or wide receiver 3, maybe wide receiver 2. With the attention Mike Williams is going to get, Palmer is going to continue to have really nice weeks.
Yeah. Before I get to my last buy low opportunity, Travis, we have a trade question in the comments.
Wow.
Would you trade in a PPR league? Wow, this is a big one. Austin Eckler, Christian Kirk, and Michael Gallup for DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, Mike Williams, and Chris Godwin.
Yes.
I would trade to get the Swift side.
Yes, I would too.
If you're getting Swift and Jamal Williams and Mike Williams and Chris Godwin, I would say
you got to take that immediately.
I would say you're doing well, my friend.
Julio, absolutely. I hope that was offered to you. I hope that's not something where we say yes, you send it, and they laugh. I hope that you can immediately click accept.
Click accept on the Swift side. I hope that's what was offered. My last buy low is someone who is on a bad offense, or at least an offense that's struggling. Brandon Cooks plays for the Houston Texans. Okay, that's something that we just have to live. He does. He is still there. And this week they face the Chargers. Now, that sounds like when I tell you, Travis, that they're playing the Chargers, what is the first thing that comes to mind?
My initial reaction is still fade.
That's a bad matchup.
Yeah.
Right? All right. So what if I told you that the Chargers, not only are they missing their best pass rusher, but they're also missing their best offensive lineman as well. And so this team just keeps getting beat up. And look, you look at teams that have given up the most points to the wide receiver position through 3 weeks. The Chargers are 6th. They've given up the 6th most points to the wide receiver position this year. And that's not going to exclude Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks is going to be the number 1 target. Even with J.C. Jackson playing and Derwin James and all the other guys, I think they're still going to find ways to get him the ball. And I expect him to have a serviceable schedule moving forward. He's got a favorable schedule coming up, and he's got a bye week in a couple weeks. So use that to your advantage right now. I'm sure the manager of Brandon Cooks right now is a little frustrated. Send over a small offer. If you have,
now's a good time.
If you have Romeo Doubs, trade him for Brandon Cooks. Okay? Trade him, get someone who's been more consistent and who has a favorable matchup, because I'm telling you, the schedule gets juicy here in the next 5 weeks. You're going to want to take advantage of a proven star. So I would make that trade today.
So you think we start to see draft capital of Brandon Cooks pay off? Because he did climb up to that 5th, 6th round.
It's like we discount him like we discount Mike Evans every single year. We're like, no, there's no way he can do 1,000 yards again. There's no way he can be viable again. And
Houston's taking shots. I mean, they don't have anybody else to really focus on. All right, we got another question. Adam Wilson traded Godwin and Pierce. I'm assuming Damian Pierce for Higgins. Any thoughts?
I like that, actually.
Yeah, anytime you're getting T. Higgins, it's going to feel good, especially if you were able to get him in the lineup before tonight.
Right.
We don't know when Godwin will be back. We think it's going to be a couple weeks. We don't know what Godwin will look like when he gets back. We know who T. Higgins is right now, and that's always a good feeling. Damian Pierce is, the name's hot right now, but it's still Houston.
Yeah.
They'll probably be coming from behind a lot of weeks. So if let's say Damian Pierce is your third RB or a flex, then yeah, I like it. But if you're really shallow, maybe I second guess it. I think Higgins is a win there.
I like it, for sure.
Another question.
Another question by Adam. Who would we start out of CD, Sutton, Drake London, Terry McLaurin, and Garrett Wilson? I know exactly who my answer is. Travis, I'll let you go first.
Let's do this because I don't believe only one of these will start.
Okay.
We don't see the lineup. Let's rank them 1 through 4. Or 1 through 5.
1 through 5. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, number 1 is CD.
I agree.
For number 2, I would probably go Sutton.
Yep.
And then for me, it is... Oh, man. That's tough. I think I would probably go McLaurin, Wilson, and then London.
Okay, I go London, Wilson, Terry. I'm fading the Washington football team. That Dallas defense is legit. And secondary is legit. I know Terry's had good games against him in the past, but I like CD1, Sutton 2, London. I'm a little nervous about Garrett Wilson because it's versus Pittsburgh and it's Zach Wilson's first game back. But yeah, maybe you give Terry the edge over Garrett Wilson, but you have London last. Are you scared of London for some reason? He's been amazing.
Yeah, London's been good. Just looking at, realistically, so I think Cleveland is better against the wide receiver position than they get credit for. Other than one huge game that the Jets had, they held Carolina in check. They had a pretty good game against Pittsburgh. I don't see Mariota as like a huge upgrade. They're not going to throw it 60 times with Mariota and give wide receiver production that way. So I expect Cleveland to be able to keep London in check. To me, it's probably more of a Kyle Pitts game than anything.
Okay. We do have, so London is our consensus 27. He's your 30, my 24, and Terry is our 28th. So he's right behind London. You have Terry at 27. I have him at 31. So it's really a toss-up there. But if you are actually asking just to start one, it's CD. If it's two, it's CD and Sutton.
Yep. I agree. Moving on. It is big picks time, Travis. The best part of the week for us, and already knowing how it's kind of gone, since now we put out our big picks before the Thursday night game, I'm going to start it off with tight end.
All right.
I'm going to start it off with tight end because my pick was Hayden Hurst. He started off good. He looked pretty good. I'll be honest. He looks physical. He had a few receptions tonight, 3 receptions, 27 yards. But the all-important factor for tight ends, he had a touchdown, which automatically is going to probably make him like a top 10 tight end. So he is there. He is productive. He's going to be someone that you're happy you started if you had him. So congratulations to those who were brave enough to put him in the lineup. Hayden Hurst, way to go. He is my big pick of the week. I feel good. I lost on the big pick, but I feel good.
The touchdown saved the night. But when you're on an offense like that, there's a decent chance to grab one of those touchdowns. All right, we're starting tight end. I will be Pat Fryermuth. Sixth most targets amongst tight ends so far with 21 targets through 3 weeks. That's pretty good. Over 7, exactly 7 targets per game for a tight end is pretty nice, especially for the price you paid for him. Sauce Gardner is going to be matched up with Deontay Johnson, I predict. Something tells me that Pat is going to be the 1B option for Mitch Trubisky. He's going to look his way early and often. As a safety blanket, I think my projection would be 9 to 10 targets, which sounds high. Maybe 8 to 9 targets sounds realistic. 6 to 7 catches, 55 yards, and a score.
Wow. All right. So you think heavy usage, not so much for Claypool, not so much for Pickens, but more so for Fryermuth.
The Jets' defense is not terrible. They're really not, and their cornerbacks are very physical. Deontay Johnson is not a physical receiver.
Sure.
And we haven't seen Claypool just be a nice second option. He's looking at Pat pretty quick. So I think 55 yards is a really nice floor for Pat this weekend.
I don't think it's a bad take at all. My wide receiver big pick of the week, Amari Cooper of the Cleveland Browns. He has Atlanta, and right now they've given up big games to wide receivers each week this season, and Amari's not going to be an exception. He's looked explosive, even with a game-managing, necessary quarterback in Jacoby Brissett. I think that Amari Cooper is going to have a nice game. Feel confident with him in your lineup. I think this is another where he has, 7 to 10 receptions, 100 yards, and a score. So I think it's going to be nice for the Cleveland Browns, who I expect them to be able to move the ball however they want to in this game.
Amari Cooper has been a very nice surprise. He just got completely pushed aside with the Deshaun Watson suspension. And maybe you can't hate that process because nobody was excited about Brissett, but Amari Cooper is a really, really good professional NFL receiver and an elite route runner, which is really going to help a career backup quarterback know exactly where he's going to be and when he's going to be there. And Amari Cooper has just been carving people up.
For sure.
Tyler Lockett is my big pick of the week. I mentioned him earlier. I said we would get back to him. Here he is, 18 catches over the last 2 weeks. That is a lot. DK Metcalf getting matched up with Okudah, who right now is the shutdown corner in the NFL. I know it's early in the season. I know it's a young cornerback. Maybe he's due to give up a big game. However, Devontae Smith, when matched up with him, 0 catches. Terry McLaurin, 2 catches. Justin Jefferson, 3 catches. I think DK Metcalf is swarmed by Okudah. It will be Lockett that Gino is looking for quite a bit. Fun fact, Dustin. Detroit, even though Okudah has done that to elite wide receivers, has given up the most points per game in the NFL through 3 weeks. What does that tell me? Everybody outside of Okudah is not that good. 31 points per game, yet elite receivers against them have really struggled. That means everybody else eats. Rashad Penny, Tyler Lockett. It's going to be a nice week for Seattle, and this is one of those not 30-point Tyler Lockett weeks, but I would not be shocked to see him give you a 20 or 25.
Wow, high praise. I mean,
10 catches. I mean, in a half PPR, 10 catches, 100 yards, and a score.
I mean, look, it's Tyler Lockett. I can never predict when he's going to have these blow-up games. He has like 3 or 4 of them a year, so
he's due for one. I can feel it in my gonads. Tyler Lockett is going for it.
just like Jamar Chase was due for one. Is that what
true.
We're going with our gut? It could just be indigestion sometimes, man. Take a Pepto-Bismol, get back with me in the morning. We're gonna stay in the same game, man. My running back big pick of the week is Jamal Williams. DeAndre Swift perpetually banged up. And here we are, Mr. Necessary, SpongeBob Mermaid, man. It's time to get him in the game. Mr. Necessary, who, may I add, is tied for the lead in rushing touchdowns in the NFL right now. He's tied with Nick Chubb.
So frustrating.
And he's got a nice matchup in Seattle. They've already given up, pretty usable weeks to Atlanta and Denver in week 1. And I think that Detroit is committed enough to the run to where Jamal Williams to get on the goal line again. What would be ironic and just poetic is if Jamal Williams gets them to the goal line and then Craig Reynolds gets the touches. So
yeah, it's like this is what we do. We give the backup the
touchdown. You get us here, and then this other guy comes off the bench and scores the touchdown. Apparently, it's the last 3 yards that are like you really have to gather your breath.
Yeah,
that's what you need to get in the end zone. Bring the fresh guy in.
I have a Jamal Williams question for you.
Okay, I'm here for it.
He all offseason, us included. We look at Jamal Williams. It's not exciting. We say, back up to DeAndre Swift. He's a handcuff. He was never a handcuff. We missed on that.
That's a good point.
He was always going to get 12 touches.
I think we all
How
wanted
did
to
we
believe
miss on that?
They wanted to I think we all wanted to believe. We're in the fantasy community, so we just assume, okay, they want their guys to score more fantasy points too. It's not true. They don't always want to use their guy more. They just want their guy to be more efficient. So Jamal Williams, yeah, like you said, I don't know if he was always going to get the work, but maybe they knew that DeAndre was banged up. They're like, okay, we have to continue leaning on Jamal. And Jamal, look,
Hard Knocks, he was getting the rock a lot.
I was going to say,
and everybody's like, what are they doing? It's actually the Swift show.
I don't want to tie a lot into the Hard Knocks narrative, but you watch and like he embodies like their attitude. He is their rah-rah guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not surprised. Jamal Williams he's a good player. Even when he was in Green Bay and Aaron Jones was out, Jamal Williams was extremely useful.
Yes.
So
it was always going to be, and this, I don't know how he missed it. It was always going to be a Melvin Gordon, Javonte, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones. Like, he was always going to be a half of this backfield. And we weren't taking him anywhere. I have 0 shares.
No.
I'm upset.
I'm also upset. But here we are. He's my big pick of the week. I think he's going to have a big week here.
How big? Prediction.
Look, if we're being honest, I expect probably around. Look, I'll play it safe with the yards and upside on the touchdowns. I think because I think he's going to have about 60 rushing yards. I think he's going to have 25 receiving yards, and I think he gets a couple scores because I think Amon-Ra is going to be out. I think they're going to be struggling. I think he's going to be out.
Oh, wow. That's breaking news to me. I need to pay attention. I didn't realize he was out.
Yeah, he hasn't been practicing. So,
DJ Chark.
I think DJ Chark. I think
Hawkinson.
TJ Hawkinson, and I think a lot of running the ball. So, we'll see.
All right, my running back pick of the week, and this is just, I feel obligated to put him here because he's never made this segment. Cordurelle Patterson. This is very similar.
Corduroy Patterson. All right.
Corduroy. This is very similar to Jamal Williams. We failed to give him respect all offseason.
We did.
Why? It's time we give him his redraft league respect. In a normal fantasy league that is one season long at a time, he deserves our respect. He tried to get it last year. We refused to give it to him. Nothing changed in that backfield, and we still didn't give it to him. And he says, you should have. I'm the number 4 running back on the season. And so what I did, Dustin, is I looked, is this just a small sample size? Is he actually 4, or is he more in that 15 to 20 range? Mm-hmm. Over his last 20 games in Atlanta, he is giving you 14.15 points per game in PPR leagues.
He's not. I thought I saw some news about him though. Let me look this up real quick because I think.
Is he banged up too?
I think he's banged up. Let me see.
Anyway, let me finish this.
Never mind. He's rested for this. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
14.15 points per game over the last 20. The other players that have averaged 14 points per game over the last 20 games, Nick Chubb, DeAndre Swift, Aaron Jones, and Dalvin Cook.
Whoa.
Now, there's guys that average more than that.
Sure.
Your Jonathan Taylor group is obviously a little higher, but this is elite first, second round picks that are giving you exactly what Cordurelle Patterson is giving you over the last 20 games, and we have 0 shares. What are we doing? Should we shut down this company? Is this our last episode?
We suck again.
We suck. What happened? No Jamal Williams, no Patterson?
I don't look, I'll be honest, I just traded for Cordurelle in my my dynasty league, so I feel okay.
Okay, you're showing him some love.
okay.
I'm trying to show him love by putting him in here because he's going to be too expensive now because
like
he's
it.
RB4.
And because you put him in your big picks, he's not going to play. So that's
Or he'll come out and have the worst game of the last 20 games. But
right. Of course.
they will continue to feed and feature him. I doubt you can buy him, but he is a league-winning type player. I don't think that you should be scared to pay a fair price for him.
Yeah. My quarterback, big pick of the week, Josh Allen. I put him in here strictly because, one, he's awesome, but two, if I'm going to lose again in this dang league, I'm at least going to get a big pick out of it. But here's the caveat. Like, putting Josh Allen as my big pick, it's not like you're like, oh, wow, I wasn't sure if I was starting Josh Allen in my fantasy team. Right. What I'm saying is I expect Josh Allen to outperform his projection by 10 points.
10 points.
By 10 points.
So he's projected
24.
24.
24.
Okay.
I expect him to get like 35. I expect him to absolutely go nuclear. I don't expect to have a hope in this game. Guys, I'm sad. I'm real big sad. But go Bills.
This game's going to be
Army.
so fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I intend on being heavily intoxicated for it.
I played against Lamar Jackson in 3 of 4 home leagues last week.
Can you say that like you were like
just
you were in
got
Nam?
smoked. My wife's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "It's Lamar
I
Jackson."
played against Lamar Jackson.
It's Lamar. She's like, "Oh,
And Tua
sorry.
Tagovailoa in week 2. I remember the ball flying through
I never
the
played
air.
another game." All right, my last pick is, and I had to talk myself into this after making the pick.
Oh, no.
After seeing Keenan Allen news, I'm like, oh, God. Justin Herbert. Vegas has Herbert at over under 270 yards passing. He usually gives you 10 to 15 on the ground. That's close to 300 total yards.
Why'd you struggle putting him in your big picks?
Houston is absolutely giving it up on the ground. And if Eckler has a monster day on the ground,
right,
then Herbert should not have a monster day through the air. They don't usually go together. They could.
True.
So by talking myself into it, I think Eckler does a lot of damage through the air, through screen passes.
Right.
So I don't think Herbert goes well over 300 yards. I kind of sticking with the theme of this show with predicting touchdowns, which is also
that's a bold move.
So responsible of us.
God. I think he's going to score 4 touchdowns. That's good process.
I have
That's
him for
really good.
4 scores on his way to the big pick of the week. I think Eckler gets 1, Mike Williams gets 1, Everett gets 1, and Palmer gets 1. That's my bold call of the week. All 4 of those weapons get 1.
I think Keenan Allen gets 1 too.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Keenan Allen on the bench.
Here, hold my hamstring. I need to go score.
Oh, goodness.
Give it back. Give it back. I need it.
Every day we stray farther from Jesus here on this show. Oh, Lord. 4 scores in 7 days ago. Here we are. Chargers, Justin Herbert, put him in your lineup. Please, for the love of everything nice and football, Josh Allen, please be tender. Be merciful.
It's rare that you get an angry Josh Allen because things are always going so well. But
he has such a nice face. He has like a smiley.
After what happened at the end of that Miami game, he's chomping to get back on the field. Good luck, Dustin. You're in trouble.
Oh God, please, Lord, help me. Oh, all right, we did it, man. We did it. That's the show. That's the show right there. That is a good looking. That's a good looking show. I'd like to bring that show home.
Look, all 10 or 11 of you that will watch this video, if you have questions, start, sit, trade questions, reach out to us on Twitter at Losing Sucks. We will respond to you. We will have full conversations. You can send us screenshots of your lineup and what should you do and how do you make it. We will help you.
Send me pictures of your food.
We want to be involved. It's something we enjoy doing, so don't hesitate to ask us questions.
That's right. Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at Losing Sucks, and make sure you come and visit our website over at losingsucksfantasy.com. As always, losing sucks. Don't do it.